What's up everyone, welcome back to another video in this beginner Python series. In this video, we'll be performing some basic math and operations in Python. So we have a user that likes to go for a run. We'll be coding a program to help them figure out their speed in miles per hour. We'll start off by taking in some inputs provided by our user, perform some conversions, calculate speed, and output a message to our user. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the video. Our first step is to create a variable to store information on how many miles our user ran outside. Let's name our variable miles. Since we want to make our program interactive, we want our user to tell us how far they ran. So to make this happen, we're going to use our input function. But as we remember from the previous video, the input function assumes that the data type is a string, not a number. So we have to fix this by placing our input function into a function that will convert a string into a number. So in this case, we use the float function because we want a real number and we'll probably need a decimal. So as you can see, I've placed my input function into my float function. Now, in order for our users to know what type of information we're looking for from our input function, we're going to print them a message. And we do that by passing a string inside of our input function. Remember, strings are surrounded by quotes. So let's type in, please enter amount of miles ran. Now that we know how far they ran, we need to know how long they've been running outside for. So let's create another variable. Let's call it minutes. And let's ask the user to enter how long they've been running outside. We'll follow the same process as we did before. So now we have information on how far they ran in miles and how long they ran in minutes. But our question is asking for their speed in miles per hour, not miles per minute. So we're going to have to account for this by converting minutes into hours. So let's create another variable. Let's call it hours. And let's assign it to our variable minutes, how long the user ran for. And let's divide that number by 60 because there are 60 minutes in an hour. Also, notice how you can assign a variable to another variable that's storing data from somewhere else in our program. Alright, finally, we have everything we need to calculate someone's speed. Let's now create a variable called speed, which will hold how fast our user was running. Now, the formula for speed is the distance divided by time, or in our case, miles divided by hours. When we run our code, Python will automatically perform these calculations for us, which when you think about it, is pretty useful. Our last step is to print this information to our user. Let's use the print function and let's pass in a message to our user. Your speed in miles per hour, followed by a comma, and finally, our variable that's storing this information, speed. Alright, so now that we went over what the code does, let's see it in action in our code editor. Remember, we're using Google Colab if you want to follow along. I'll leave a link in the description below, that way you can just click on it and you can join along. Alright, so we're in Google Colab. Let's run our code and let's see what happens. So the first thing is that Python sees our input function and is showing us an input box that we can type in. So let's type in some input. Let's say we ran 2.5 miles. Let's hit enter. And okay, cool. The next input box appears asking us how many minutes did it take us. So let's say it took us 30 minutes. Let's hit enter. And now we see our output. It says your speed in miles per hour is 5.0. So our speed after running 2.5 miles for 30 minutes was 5 miles per hour. Alright, so in this video, we took multiple inputs from a user, miles and minutes. We converted minutes to hours. We calculated speed in miles per hour. And we outputted a message to the user telling them their speed. Okay everyone, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Alright everyone, until next time.